I've had a lot of fun putting this program together, being tougher and stronger mentally. Thanks for listening. Here we go. Do 5 for 5 for 5. Never stop trying. Tell the truth. Do 5 for 5 for 5. Tough guys would agree with me here. David Goggins, Dan Pena, Tony Robbins, Rocky. They might add their special twist to it or embrace it or add to it or call it something else. But tough guys and successful guys would definitely say that this is where the proverbial rubber meets the road. I saved 5 for 5 for 5 for this session. It is my own invention. It makes me unstoppable. It can make you unstoppable too. And there are 3 types of daily behaviors for you to implement into your daily life that perhaps seem easy when first explained, but they're not as easy as you might initially believe. They definitely make you mentally tougher. Specifically, with the 5 for 5 rule, you get to prove to yourself every day or show yourself every day how to win. No theory, no BS, no babbling. It just makes your workday come alive. And again, it involves 3 different distinct things that I target to do every day to get the results that I want. There are many other things that I incorporate into my day other than and in concert with the 5 for 5 rule. But the 5 for 5 rule applies for all work days, and it's tough. But you could say that when you do the specific tough things every day to show yourself that you're winning, you become unstoppable with the confidence to know that you're doing the actual things that will ensure that you succeed. So you're not like the lunatic who wants to just blabber about most anything while faking that they believe in things that they're just talking about. Instead, you confidently approach your days because you are actually proving with your actions that you're winning and that you're succeeding. That's pretty cool. Again, when I explain the 5 for 5 rule that I live by, you absolutely get what I'm speaking about. It involves getting up at 5 a.m., exercising the equivalent of a 5-mile walk, and doing 5 solid hours of proactive work every workday. And while it may sound easy, it's not. I missed the mark at times with one of the 3 rules, I'm honest. Last week I was so tired I woke up at 7:15 one day and I couldn't believe I slept in. And I couldn't see for 3 days last week either. But I don't abandon the 5 for 5 rule. I keep after it. I work at it. I make it part of my workday. And when I'm on target, when I get after all 3, I'm unstoppable. So let's break this down a bit to help you out. First, 5. Get up at 5 a.m. Let's work through this one. First, your present work schedule may affect this. Your home schedule may affect this too. Taking care of an infant or small children or an elderly person may affect this. But if you are in any way able to do this, get up at 5 a.m. and seize the day. I generally get up around 4:15 a.m. I go to bed at 8 or 9 at night. TV's not a deal for me, but put your phone away. Stop gaming or drinking or smoking or BSing all night. Just get up at 5 o'clock. And recently a woman called me and said she now does the 6 for 5 for 2. And it was working for her a bit. She gets this. She struggled with the 5 a.m. time, so she gets up at 6. She loves exercising, so the second 5 of exercising the equivalent of walking 5 miles a day was easier. And her job and caring for her 6-year-old child made it tough for her to do the 5 hours of proactive work, but she was hitting the 2-hour mark, and she felt unstoppable too. Second, the second 5, exercise, the equivalent of a 5-mile walk each day, and this is adjustable to your life. You know, a contractor or a handyman I know mentioned he's on his feet and working physically hard each day. And he said, hey, I get credit because I'm exercising all day by working physically. And I agreed with him. But he said that he started to take a short 10-minute walk after his dinner every night instead of just plopping on the sofa and channel surfing when he got home. And that 10-minute walk allowed him to clear his head and do some hours of proactive work at night. Instead of doing 2 remodeling jobs a month, he wants to do 5 to 7 remodeling jobs a month, and he felt unstoppable with what he was doing. He's got a newly designated interactive website, a new employee helper, and he's strategizing how to attain his new goal. He wasn't wasting time. And third, the final 5, do 5 hours of proactive work each day. If doing 5 hours of proactive work seems a bit tough for folks with a full-time job, just Adjust it to at least 2 hours a day when you get home and put a full-time proactive work day in on Saturday. But there is no excuse for folks who are working for themselves to not achieve the 5 hours of proactive work each day. They could and should and can devote 5 hours of their workday proactively doing the things they should do instead of just goofing off and pretending. At first, for this final 5, a lot of the proactive work involves planning. Setting up your office, cleaning up your file system, buying equipment, setting up your laptop, making up blank index cards, making your website interactive, setting up accounts, writing your plan. The list is endless. Now, after that stuff is out of the way, though, it's time to make the proactive stuff all about reaching out proactively to get business, to touch people who are actually going to pay you. Proactive work forces you to stop pretending and talking about the same thing over and over and over again. I've been there. Proactive stuff or working in the trenches sets you on cruise control to success. Your total focus of completing the 5 for 5 for 5 process every day is to make your business day's activities explode. No more just clicking on your iPhone or surfing the internet or looking at YouTube or streaming movies or wasting time. You're doing, you're working, you're getting in good physical condition, you're succeeding. So best of luck with this 5 for 5 for 5 challenge. It works. Definitely makes you mentally tougher. Never stop trying. If you want to be mentally tougher and mentally stronger, I believe that you need to work and pray without ceasing and never stop trying. And this working and praying without ceasing takes on a whole new meaning when someone seriously considers devoting themselves to becoming better. It isn't easy. Because as you look to be mentally tougher and mentally stronger, it may not be apparent that you have to work incredibly hard. And I realize that hard work is preached today by a lot of motivators and public speakers and life coaches. But the mixed messages touted at MLM meetings and network marketing meetings and pyramid scheme bogus sales rallies, to not trade time for money and to spend more time with your family and to enjoy swimming with the dolphins, while somewhat working hard, is all that it takes to confuse us. Most inexperienced people and young people and folks with cushy office jobs who say they want to work hard and make a lot of money often have absolutely no idea at all of what it takes and how hard you have to work just to make a living on your own. Making payroll is a challenge. Solving every problem is a challenge. Warding off your competition is a challenge. Doing it day after day is a challenge. And it can beat you up at times. And if there is one thing to do to never give up and to motivate you to realize that you can be certain that you will attain what you want, it is the mindset and action you need to adopt that you're just going to work and pray without ceasing, and you will never stop trying. There's no other way to act. There is no other acceptable outcome except your success. You may have setbacks, illnesses, bankruptcies, betrayals, abandonment, and ridicule, and every form of negative result imaginable. But no matter what, you'll continue to work to get it right, and you will pray and work without ceasing. But how does it work? How can you determine if you're up for the task? It's really simple. Not easy, but simple. Do a test by yourself to see if you pass. Do a 60-hour work week, and all the other time, when you're not working, pray for strength. Now, you might say that sounds easy, or ask why, or wonder if you can do it, or claim that you always work 60-hour work weeks, or whatever. But just do it. You pick the week. You decide. If you work a full-time job and you want to incorporate those 35 or 40 hours into the 60 hours a week challenge, no problem. Just focus on working a 60-hour week and pray without ceasing the other time that you're not working. See if you can do it. If you can achieve what you want in business. If you can't, you may want to reconsider things a bit. Remember, a 60-hour work week is working 10 hours a day for 6 straight days. I don't count Sunday because that's the Lord Day and a day of rest. So if you work, it doesn't include the commute and doesn't include breaks and lunch and goofing off. If you work 7 hours a day, Monday through Friday, then you need to work for 3 more hours doing work for yourself every night after your full-time job, and then work a 10-hour day on Saturday. You can't count when you're daydreaming about working or thinking about working or clicking on your phone as work or viewing countless YouTube videos unless work related. Reading, writing, editing, and planning all count as work time, but video games and watching TV do not count as work time, and watching movies does not count either. If you can't complete the 60-hour work week challenge the first or second time that you try, that's okay. Keep after it. After the third time, though, you may want to consider that you've failed because you don't want to fool yourself. And we often fool ourselves way too much. I fooled myself about tons of things. And it wasn't until I tested myself in certain ways that I realized that I needed to radically change what I always did in order to succeed at what I wanted to do. No matter what my illnesses or impairments or inability to work was, I had to actually just do it. A 60-hour work week is the minimum that you need to work if you want to succeed at anything worthwhile. I don't care what you're trying to accomplish, what type of work you're doing, that's your business, but it takes hard and determined work to get things done. As far as the prayer part is concerned, you decide your prayer part. You can read, sweep, say the Holy Rosary, read scripture, offer up doing the dishes, clean your partner's sneakers, reorganize your pantry, do holy hours or whatever. But no social media. No clicking on your iPhone or surfing TV channels or playing video games. On your prayer time, try to do some things, actually praying counts, that serves others in some ways. Making your partner's favorite lunch and dinner works too. It may sound cliche-ish or old school or maybe like excerpts from a Tony Robbins rally or a scene from a Rocky movie, but if you work and pray without ceasing, there is no way that you'll not be able to be successful at what you're doing. When you never stop trying and you don't quit. You may need to adjust the guardrails and change the end zone markers and paint the hardwood a different color, but when you're in the race or in the game or on the line and you won't quit, there's nothing else that will stand in your way. You want to succeed at what you're looking to accomplish? Work and pray without ceasing and never stop trying. You'll be mentally tougher and stronger, more mentally tougher and stronger than you can ever imagine. Tell the truth. If you want to be mentally tougher and mentally stronger, then tell the truth. There's nothing that will kill your reputation faster or inflict more damage on your career than if you're known as a liar. In days past, this was certainly the case. Today, however, it seems like more and more people care less about the truth and more about expediency or their truth. People tend to lie and cheat and steal from others with a smile on their face today and a $1,000 suit on their backs. But if you want to be mentally tough and make a lot of money, you'll need to reach out and communicate and deal with a lot of other people. This is a given. And nobody likes a liar, a fake, or a phony. So make it a point to say what you mean and mean what you say. It clarifies issues and parameters. It reinforces exactly what you want to convey. And it's the right thing to do. And it makes you mentally tough. Big distinction to make here. Let me make this distinction. Learn to tell the truth and not just your truth. You hear that a lot today. I'll tell you my truth, as people beat their chest and proclaim that they have the truth, their truth, and it's that way, just because they say so. It's third-grade reasoning. And there's an arrogance and ignorance to that approach to truth that is ruining our people today. Speak to the objective truth of things and to things. The wall is painted red, the grass is green, and your girlfriend ate 2 pizzas last night. Your truth, or your often silly and stupid assessment or misconceptions or goofy conclusions about so many things, often screws things up. The wall isn't neutral colored, it's red. The dirt patches don't disprove the green color of the grass, and your girlfriend isn't hurling in the bathroom because she ate a few crackers for supper last night. Truth is, she ate too much pizza. Now, you don't have to divulge things that you wish to keep to yourself, and very often a lot of things are better off left unsaid. That's your right and your discretion. You don't need to volunteer information or always try to fall all over yourself by trying to explain your intent or your reasoning behind your decisions. Keeping things personal is not sneaky or wrong or not the truth. There are many personal things you choose not to disclose. But you also don't need to custom fabricate explanations to try to falsely prove your loyalty or disloyalty or even honesty towards a person. Just tell the truth. Yes is yes. No is no. Swear neither by heaven nor by hell. And answer people truthfully and honestly. And don't let people decide what their truth is for you. That's often their slander. Don't let their false witness and gossip and bad-mouthing and backstabbing lie about you. You know, I opened this program by talking about the world of imagery and how you should make every effort to abandon, or at least not participate in, the world of imagery and instead be open to and adopt the world of value. And I've chosen this topic to close out this program, Tell the Truth, in order for you to be mentally tougher and mentally stronger in all aspects of your life. But it would be a disservice to you if I simply lectured you about truth or the beauty of truth or to tell you just to always tell the truth. You already know that telling the truth is the right thing to do. So instead, I'm going to close out this program and this book with a different approach to help you understand what I mean by objective truth, because lots of folks don't get this. And I think it's most clearly understood by trying to explain truth in its totality and to also grasp that relating to most all things and all people, nothing is so false as that which is closest to the truth. And this pertains to most everything. Whether we're talking about loyalty or our speech or our affections or our transgressions or our half-assed approach to love Almighty God, when we live and flirt with truth and sprinkle it with our weak mental approach by trying to espouse our truth or our allegiance to a popular narrative, it's falser than any of the biggest lies you can ever fathom. When your siblings or friends or father's character is being defamed, and you don't come to his or her defense and instead jump on the bandwagon of lies and half-truths and false witness by either remaining silent or wimping out and adding a nod or a complicit, yeah, that could be, that's a betrayal of a loyalty that's more false than stabbing the guy with a knife. In that case, you're not mentally strong for the other person. You were a wimpy, weak, disloyal milquetoast weasel. When you defame or spread gossip or spread lies or half-truths about someone, things that you know to be false, and you do so because of some related questionable accusation or perhaps just to pass some flavor to a dicey story or enhance the way you are perceived, or you just can't control your tongue, or you just feel like a prick, that ain't right. Quite often, those combined little lies and half-truths about someone are more false or falser than the most shameful of even any real transgressions. Folks believed that the coronavirus vaccine helped really older folks, and I think it did. And everybody knew that ivermectin was used for horses as well as for humans, and that natural immunity was better than any defense against COVID. Yet a concerted monopoly spewed a narrative that ivermectin was for animals. Folks were evil if they didn't take the vaccine and never even acknowledged that natural immunity was the best of all against COVID. You see, their selective truth to push the vaccine at all costs, no matter what, was really more false or falser than anything. They pushed their truth that it helped older folks, and it didn't consider or even entertain the truth that natural remedies and especially natural immunity were better than the vaccines. If you witness a girl being accosted and assaulted and you remain silent and say nothing, it is true that you may have been afraid of repercussions against you, but your silence construes consent. In other words, your silence and not saying anything is wrong and terrible, and you could be held liable if you didn't say something to help her. If you knew of someone's actions like those of Harvey Weinstein or Jeffrey Epstein, and you knew that they were doing those nasty things, and many did, your truth of being afraid of the repercussions of saying something and speaking up, and your silence, was probably more false and more wrong than the actual bad actions of Weinstein and Epstein. You were a coward for not saying something, anything. Some things may seem off to you, regarding any situation or relationship or circumstances. Some relationships may seem a bit interesting to you. Some folks may appear to be doing things that you don't grasp or appear weird, or your truth, as you choose to see it, may be way off base and completely wrong. Remember what my grandmother Helen Lloyd said back in 1976, and your grandmother probably uttered during her lifetime. Nothing is ever as it seems. Nothing. So pray for them. Nothing is ever as it seems, and nothing is so false as that which is closest to the truth should be the battle cries and a wake-up call for America and Americans. We have way too much hate, too many half-truths being pushed, way too many folks slandering and ruining other people's lives, and their lies and with their lies and false witness. Way too much mental weakness. And I'd like to stand up and proclaim a real example of how nothing is as it seems and nothing is so false as that which is closest to the truth regarding a very controversial and divisive issue in America today. And if you hate me or my view, or you want to slander my name and my view on the matter, go right ahead. The hate's on you. I wish you nothing but peace. And the issue is abortion. As a side note, I bought 7.2 acres of farmland in El Salvador 20 years ago and built homes for women who are abandoned with children. It's an epidemic there and all over the world, and women and children suffer a lot. The truth is, women often suffer a lot when bringing children in the world, especially the poorest of the poor. I built a lot of homes all over Salvador. That's another story. And I just gave a begging street woman with her infant child some money, some supplies, and some encouragement, and my phone number a month ago. I helped a street wheelchair lady and a street blind guy, totally blind, some help just the other day. It was on Monday. I understand the truth of suffering. I get it. I understand that truth. Yet if you're going to talk of abortion, you need to present the totality of the truth of the act and not just consider your truth or your choice. You need to acknowledge the truth of the humanity of the unborn child. Its DNA, its brain, its body, its organs, its soul, its arms, its legs, its right to life. There is none among us that did not come from a mother's womb. And the truth is, when you tear that unborn child to pieces, you are tearing apart a human being with DNA and brains and organs and arms and legs and a soul. Again, understanding the truth of the difficulty women experience raising children and the plight of poor kids, I get that. But nothing is ever as it seems, and nothing is so false as that which is closest to the truth, especially when the totality of the truth trumps other considerations. The world of imagery flourishes because of chaos. And the turmoil, madness, and disorder that then blossoms is a tapestry of vines that chokehold a lot of us. Deception, false witness, lies, slander, hatred of all sorts triumph when mentally tough and mentally strong folks cower and accept and participate in the world of imagery or the world of make-believe. As Americans, we need to never give up. We need to never stop trying and to stop being afraid. We need to do our best to stop hating and try as best we can to adopt a world of value in all that we do. God bless you and yours. I hope this program helped you as you look to be mentally stronger and mentally tougher. Stay well.